Hey there, happy Tuesday. Thank you so much for making the time to watch today's replay. I'm so excited to dive into the 3 biggest branding mistakes that I am seeing very consistently all over the place. And I want to talk about those 3 mistakes and what you can do to try and avoid them. For those of you who don't know me or don't know me well, my name is Carrie Price. I'm a brand messaging coach helping ambitious women business owners find and own the words to stand out, be heard, and make your message roar. If you are joining me, whether live or on the replay, please let me know where you're watching from. I love that Facebook Live and social media in general lets us connect from all over the world, and I would love to say hello. I am going to jump right into today's topic, and I'm just double checking, making sure we're live in all the right places, and we are. But we are talking today about the 3 biggest branding mistakes that I see a lot of people making. Now, I'm going to say it again. I'm going to say it every single time. This is not out of judgment if you're doing any of these things, but once you know and you're aware of these mistakes, then you can start to address them and avoid them, right? You can't fix something that you don't know if there's a problem around. So if you are making any of these branding mistakes, please don't take this as judgment. Learn from today, ask me any questions that you have, and let's help you recover from these issues, all right? So, mistake number 1 that I see a lot of people have in their branding, particularly around their messaging, is thinking that the ideal client avatar is enough. Now, I did a whole Facebook Live on this topic, I think it was last week or the week before, about why your ideal client avatar is not enough, but let me just break down the highlights of that for you. So, most people, when they look at trying to understand their ideal client, do the ideal client avatar exercise. Now, if you're working with a business coach or inside of any sort of a coaching program, you've probably done this exercise. And it's trying to define your ideal client. Give them a name, know what kind of clothes they wear, what kind of car they drive, do they have kids, are they a dog person, a cat person, do they drink coffee or tea, and you're trying to describe them as a person, right? Like, where do they live? Are they in the city? Are they in the suburbs? And I totally get why people encourage you to do that, because one of the best things that you can do for your message and as you're talking to people is to speak to one individual person. So if you define your ideal client avatar in a way where you know, my ideal client is Mary. She is a mother of 2 that lives in a Chicago suburb. She drives a Lexus SUV. You start to picture an individual person in your mind, right? Here's the problem with that, only relying on the ideal client avatar. And you may even have gone so far as to start thinking about some of the pains and problems and struggles that she has. But it's not enough. That doesn't tell you how to speak to her. It doesn't tell you how to frame everything that you do in a way that she's going to care about. So, ideal client avatar, understanding pains, problems, and struggles, great first step. Just know that it's not enough, okay? And again, if you are joining me live or on the replay, please say hi and let me know where you're watching from, okay? So I can greet you properly, and I love knowing who's watching and being connected with you from wherever you are in the world. All right. Oh, Evelata, hi. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm so glad you're here. Okay. Mistake number 2 that I see, probably the biggest branding mistake. No, I'm going to take that back. These are all big branding mistakes. And again, this is not out of judgment. But the mistake number 2 that I see is that you are starting in the wrong place in trying to define your brand. Now, what I see most often is people try and start with their tagline. And I get asked all the time, so Carrie, what do you think of my tagline? And I cannot answer that question for you, because your tagline should be the succinct culmination, 3 to 5 words that you want to be known for that's going to stick, but it needs to represent your entire message, your entire brand. So you're sort of starting with the end instead of starting in the beginning. Now, that doesn't mean you can't put something out there and work with it while you're evolving and understanding your brand, and then you can revisit it later. But if you are looking to have a tagline or what I call a brand position that you really want to own in the market, and potentially you want to actually legally protect it by trademark, then you need to do all the work to make sure that is the words that you want to own. I've shared with you guys, maybe a month or two back now, the history of how Make Your Message Roar was born and the process that I went through, and that it took me 2 to 3 months. And it's the same process I take my clients through. But your tagline or your brand position really comes at the end. And it's the strongest and the most powerful and the most impactful when it comes at the end of the messaging process. Now, similarly, some people will start with their logo, fonts, and colors for their brand, and they think, I'm going to roll that out. Here's the problem with that. It also doesn't, it may not, I won't say doesn't, because it could, but it may not represent everything that you want your brand to stand for, everything that you're trying to communicate through your message and all your marketing and all your touch points, right? So when you start in the wrong place, when you start at the end, you're starting with the tagline or the logo, your fonts and colors, without understanding all the stuff that's going to make that the most relatable, the most one of a kind, the most actionable. Well, then you're starting in the wrong place. It doesn't mean you might not land on something that works, but it might not be the most powerful. It's not going to be something that you know without a shadow of a doubt that it stands for everything that you believe in your business. Okay? Hey, Rochelle. Good morning. So glad you're here. And Evalata from down south, way south. Appreciate you joining. Hi, Dawn. So good to see you. Thank you so much for joining me. All right. I have covered mistake number 1. I have just wrapped up mistake number 2, which is starting in the wrong place. Mistake number 3 that I see people making is not being focused enough. Now, this is one that scares everybody. It makes a lot of people itchy and uncomfortable, nervous, and brings up all the fears that you have when you start to think about focus or niche or niche, depending on how you say that. Seriously, I have always said niche, and all my Canadian clients have told me I need to say niche. And so every time I say it, it feels a little weird, but I'm working on it. But when you are afraid to niche or focus in your business, what happens is your message gets diluted. You guys have all heard you can't, the jack of all trades, the master of none, right? You cannot be all things to all people. So when you're trying to be too broad and you're trying to talk to too many groups of people or do too many things for those people, or solve too many problems, that's a lot of stuff you're now trying to own in people's minds, right? When you're able to focus and niche on every aspect of your business, the more focused you are on who your ideal client is, the more focused you are on the specific pains, problems, and struggles that you are able to help them with, the more focused you are on what you do and your area of expertise, the more powerful your brand becomes. Because everybody has short attention spans, and you need to be able to have that thing that's going to stick in people's minds. Just a reminder, your brand is your reputation as it's perceived in the mind of the market. So you're looking to control mind share. You're looking to find a place in people's minds where they're going to remember you, and not just by your name and like, oh, she seems fun and friendly, but what you are an expert in. And the more you dilute that, the harder it is to own that place in the market, to own that place in their mind. So I know some of you are probably thinking, but I can do a lot of different things, and I want to do a lot of different things, or I can help anybody. I get every time I hear that from somebody when I'm just networking and getting to know people, and I ask them, who's your ideal client, so I can be on the lookout for them, because I love connecting and referring people. but I want to make sure I'm like connecting the right people together, right? And when they say, oh, I can help everybody, do you know that in my mind, I like literally check out? That doesn't help me find people for you. And it doesn't help me know that the person I'm referring you to is the right person because they get you. So if I ask you, hey, who's your ideal client so I can keep an eye out for them, you better be really clear on who that is. If you give me I can help anybody with anything, I can't refer anyone to you. Like, I don't know who to refer to you, right? So when you get super focused, your message gets stronger and it resonates with people in a different way. It gets your ideal client to say, oh, she really gets me. Like, is she in my head? Those are the exact things I'm thinking in my head. That's the exact problem that I'm having. That's the exact help that I want. And I want it from an expert. I'm starting to see, and I actually had an interesting conversation with a colleague of mine yesterday. And she said, I'm not looking for a generalist anymore. I'm not looking for general business coaching. Like, I've had that. Now I know what I need is focused expertise. When I want help in a specific area, I'm going to go to the person who is an expert in that. I no longer want or need somebody who knows a little bit of everything. So the more that you are able to focus, the easier it is for you to show up for people as the expert in that thing when they have that problem. So here's the thing that's really hard to trust until you get there. You feel like if I focus a niche, I'm leaving all this money on the table, right? Like, oh, but I could help all those people. And oh, I could do all those things. And if I say I don't do that anymore and I just focus, like, I'm losing money. I promise you, it's hard to believe, but it's true. The more focused you get, the easier it is to actually make money. And it's because you start attracting your ideal client more easily. You're laser focused in on them. And by the way, other people will resonate with your message. I've shared this before. I say that I work with ambitious women business owners. That's where my personal passion lies. That's who I'm talking to. Women, so it's a little bit more of an emotional connection sometimes than maybe working with men. That doesn't mean I don't work with men. I have a VIP one-on-one client right now who's a man. He saw my message. He saw my videos. And even though I say I work with ambitious women business owners, he reached out and said, you obviously know what you're doing. I want to work with you. Do you work with men? So your message gets so much stronger. So don't be afraid to focus or niche. It actually makes your message more powerful. Dawn says, I've been struggling with this for years. Yeah, Dawn, it's a super common problem. So you are not alone. And again, I don't call these out as any sort of judgment. These are just the problems that I very consistently see a lot of people struggling with that makes it so much harder for them. It means that you're probably still putting content out there and you're not attracting enough of your ideal clients. And you're not getting them like strong enough, right? Like, they're not going, yes, that's what I need help with. And oh my gosh, how do I work with you? Right? And it comes from fear. We all do it. I continually struggle with who my ideal client is and the market that I want to serve, right? So is it just women? Is it men and women, but maybe it's a service-based business versus service or product? I've gotten even more laser focused on my ideal client in the last 2 months, and people are responding to that message stronger than ever. So even I was still a little too broad, and I'm getting more focused, and people are hearing me speak on my Facebook Lives or seeing my posts and reading my content and going, oh my gosh, that's exactly my problem. And you guys, on like sales calls, people who like want to set up a call to understand what it's like to work with me, most of those calls now, I'm not going to say 100%. I'm going to say 100% of my calls over the last month have all said, I will work with you. It's a matter of timing. But let's just like who's actually signed up to work with me. I'm going to say it's 80% of calls that I get on, people are enrolling to work with me. That's what happens when you can let your message get really focused and really concentrated. And own it and don't be afraid of it. And other people will be attracted to it, but your message can get so much stronger when you do that. Hey, Tanya, so good to see you. Why do I use the word women and not female? Women business owners is something that there's organizations that are women business owners. So that's the term I choose to use. Yeah. You could use female. A lot of people use female entrepreneurs. So it's also what people are going to be looking for. So like I said, there's women business owner organizations that target women business owners. I don't usually hear female business owners. So it's a phrase that is something that my ideal clients probably are seeing more and relate to a little bit more. Dawn, how to decide? Great question. It is a process. You've got to do a little bit of work on what it is you truly want to be doing, what you truly want to be known for, and your area of expertise. I do actually walk you through a process inside my program how to do that. So it's interesting. My program is meant to help you get clarity in your message. In order to do that, you've got to get clarity in who you serve and what you do. And pretty much every one of my clients says they get so much clarity in their business and they focus by going through that process because it's foundational. Like you've got to know what that is so that you can build strong messaging around it. But yeah, you've got to dig in deep and really you've got to look at your market. You've got to look at what your ideal clients are looking for, and you've got to be thinking about what's the subset of clients that are willing and able to pay for it. Because you can attract a lot of people that think you're great, but if they're not willing to pay for it, you're not going to have a business, right? So you've got to be able to get really laser focused in on what that is and get someone to ask you the right questions. Evilata, it says you lost me for a minute, but the link you posted got me back here again. Okay, good. I'm so glad you're back. Thank you so much for coming back. All right. Let me just recap again with the three biggest branding mistakes that I see people making. Let me know what questions you have. One is thinking that your ideal client avatar is enough. It is not enough. It is scratching the surface and it's an important first step, but that is not going to help you know how to speak to them in a way that's relatable, one of a kind, actionable, and reliable, right? Ideal client avatar is not going to give you all of the words to know how to talk to them. Mistake number 2 is people are starting in the wrong place. They're trying to start at the end of the branding process with maybe their tagline or their logo, fonts, and colors, but they're missing the entire messaging foundation that informs those things, right? You cannot create a tagline that you know embodies everything that you believe in, is the thing that you want to be known for, and communicates your message in the most succinct way until you do all the other work. Your logo, fonts, and colors should be the visual representation of your message. What is it you're trying to communicate, and how do you do that visually? So you can't do that first either. Okay. And then mistake number 3 is not being focused enough. And I spent the most time on that one here on the live. So if you've missed that, you can go back and catch the replay. But the more that you are able to focus and be seen as an expert serving a very specific group of ideal clients, the stronger your message will be, the more powerful it's going to be for them to go, oh my gosh, that is me. I have that problem. I want those results. And you're the person that can help me. That is what you're after with your message, right? It's the foundation of your brand. It's the foundation of your business, of everything that you build up from. Now, I do want to say that if you're making any of those mistakes, again, you guys, I'll say this every time I'm addressing something that I'm seeing that's maybe a challenge. It's not out of judgment, and it's not your fault. If you've been focused on your ideal client avatar, it's because that's probably what you're hearing from coaches or inside programs. Like they know how important your message is, and that's as far as they can take you. And it's not their fault. It's really not their job to take you further in your message because they're showing up in their area of expertise, right? Nobody can do all things for all people. And if messaging development is not their area of expertise, they're giving you enough to get going, but you're probably seeing that as you try and implement whatever it is in your program that you're learning, your marketing technique or the coaching that you're getting, you're probably seeing that it wasn't like you don't have the words, like you still don't know how to speak to them, okay? But it's not your fault and it's not their fault because messaging development really is a focused, strategic piece of work that you need to do in your business. And it takes time. I've shared with you guys, I mean, even for myself, it took the full 3 months that it takes me to guide my clients through that process. Now, that doesn't mean that you don't have anything for 3 months, right? Like I said, if you've got a tagline now or you're talking to people now, like keep doing what you're doing. Messaging is something that evolves, and the stronger you can make it, the faster you can make it, then the more powerful and impactful your marketing becomes. Now, you got to still market. You've got to put yourself out there, even if it's not 100% effective, right? You still have to do it. But you want to start doing some work to improve your messaging so that your marketing gets even more effective. It takes less time. On average, it takes people 7 to 10 encounters with you. We call those brand touch points. 7 to 10 encounters for them to like really know who you are, and maybe want to work with you. I can be known in like as little as 2 to 3 touch points. And so I don't have to work as hard. Now, it doesn't mean I don't work hard for my clients and in my own marketing, but I'm working smarter because everything I put out there is more effective. I don't have to post 3 times a day in 5 different places to get visible. I don't have to do a Facebook Live every day. There's a lot of things I don't have to do because everything I put out there is really impactful, right? It's really effective. And so you can have that too. All right, let me get caught up on some comments here. Okay, Dawn says, yes, able to pay is key. That is foundational. Like if you're financially independent and you don't need to make money, then honestly, I would say you don't have a business, you have a hobby, and that's fine. If like you just want to help people and you don't have to get paid for it, by all means do that. The world needs givers, right, in the world. But if you're trying to build a business, you better be attracting people that have the ability and willingness to pay for it. So not only do they have to have the money, they have to value it. And that's on you. And I mean, that's on me, right, and talking to you. And that's on you and talking to your client. You have to show the value so that they will invest in whatever it is that you do. Right? Eva Lotta says start with the gut. Yep, you got to start with where your area of expertise and passion are. And starting with your gut is great. A lot of people, what does your gut tell you? What your intuition tell you? But let me tell you this, you've got to validate it. I do take a more business-focused approach to my coaching. I want you to feel really good about what you do and where your passions lie, but I want to make sure that it's like strategic and like really business focused, right? If I only did what I wanted to do every day, I don't know, I might binge watch Netflix all day. I'm just saying, right? Now, I'm doing something I love in my business for sure, but I'm constantly evaluating and validating that what I'm doing is going to be the right strategic move for my business. So trust your gut, but validate. Tanya says, sheesh, it's been almost a year since I did your first mini class. One thing I've noticed, since I focused my message, I spend less time talking to people who are not a perfect fit for me. Just wanted to mention that. Yes, Tanya, great point. When you focus, it's not just about attracting your ideal client. It's about weeding out everybody else. And again, that is something that's going to make a lot of people uncomfortable right now to hear, because in your mind, you're probably thinking like, I don't want to lose people, but you want to build your business with people that you are mostly going to really enjoy being around. You don't want to create a business that's filled with people that you wake up dreading to work with every day, because you may as well just go get a job. Right? You want to attract your dreamiest clients. Now, sometimes you're going to attract people that really resonate with you and they're not maybe like the totally perfect fit because your message, they're like, but I really want your message. And then that's for you to decide, right? If you want to work with them or not. But the best thing you can do is attract dreamy clients and let everybody else move along. You are not the right fit for everybody, and everybody is not the right client for you. Getting a client that drains your energy, that doesn't do the work, that doesn't get results, and just makes you not love what you do is more detrimental to your business, okay? Now, if you're in the beginning of your business, I know you're probably thinking but I need the revenue, I need the income. And that might be true. And you might even have existing clients today that you don't love. Your challenge is to go get more dreamy clients so that you have the freedom to make that choice. So that you can choose to only work with the people that are the right fit for you and that you're the right fit for them. Okay, so thank you so much for sharing that, Tanya. Plus, she says, plus narrowing down my ideal or my client base in terms of focus also has a great side effect. I got even better in my area of specialization because I spent less time on the other stuff. Yes. So that goes to that mistake number 3, right? When people are afraid to focus their niche and you're trying to do all the things, you cannot be excellent at all the things, but you can be really excellent when you focus and you dedicate and you become the very best at that thing, that it will just continue to accelerate you in the mind of the market as the expert. And that's what you want. When you're the expert, you are the go-to person. You are the person that they are going to think about. You're the person that they're going to refer people to. That is what you're after. Oh, Evalata says, I meant in terms of tagline, not the other way around. Oh, for going with your gut on the tagline, Evalata. Yeah. Sometimes you just got to go with feels good, but you've got to validate that it's something that you're going to own for the long term, that's going to be specific enough for your business and yet broad enough to give you flexibility. There's a fine balance there, and that actually means something. It lets people know exactly what you do and what you stand for and what you believe and what you help them with. All right. Rochelle says, that's where I got lost. My passion has been a hobby, so to speak, and now wanting to create it into a business. Yeah, I think a lot of us fall into that because everyone says, do the thing that you would get up and do every day for free. If you didn't need the money. And everyone's like, great, awesome, I'll go do it for free. And a lot of coaches encourage you to actually do it for free in the beginning to get testimonials, right? Here's what I found about that, by the way. I might offer, well, not where I'm at now, but I offered free coaching to sort of validate some things in the beginning. And here's the thing about free, or even like people ask me if I'll work and trade, and I say no. And now I might buy your services and you buy my services. I've done that before, but I won't work and trade and I won't work with people for free. Here's why. As my husband says, free has no value. So you actually need a monetary exchange. It's an energetic thing for those of you who believe in that, but it goes to value and having skin in the game. When somebody works with you and you're doing the work for free, especially if you're a coach, especially if like your client has to do the work, they're not as motivated. They don't have any skin in the game, right? That they invested money to get your expertise to get some results. So somebody could give me their free services that normally is valued at $20,000, and somebody might think like, oh, but you'll really value it. But you know what? If I don't do the work, I didn't lose anything. So there's no value to me as a client who got something for free if I didn't pay for it, right? And that goes both ways. So if you offer your services for free, you're in exchange for the testimonial, like that person's not motivated to get absolutely everything out of their work with you. And let's be honest, are you going to wake up every day when it gets a little tough and they're not getting the results you want and you've got to work extra hard and you know, I'm not even getting paid any money, right? So I do believe that my belief is you can offer your services maybe at a discount or a beta price or whatever your starting price is, knowing you're going to raise it, but you'll value the time and your client will value the time if there's a money exchange. So then that takes out the I would do it as a hobby. Like I'd do it for free, even if I could, right? You've got to think like a business person. You've got to think what's going to be the thing that's going to make my investment. I'm not talking about money, just money. My money investment, my time investment. Everywhere I spend time and money, I need to know it's a good move for my business because I'm willing to invest both. I've invested thousands of dollars this year in coaching and training and learning, in tools, in support, a graphic designer, a virtual assistant, because I know the investment of that money is moving my business forward, right? And it's not just about the money though. I've got to know that every investment in my time is a good use of my time. Because I have to market my business. I have to service my clients and make sure I'm giving them like exceptional service, right? My client, because I love what I do, and I really believe that what I do helps my clients' businesses excel, I give everything to my clients. So I've got to make sure I have time to do that, right? You don't want to sign clients and then not have time to take care of them. That's the worst thing you could do for your business. So my time is valuable. So and the reason I invested in some of the programs and coaching that I did is because it's accelerating my ability to get results, right? My time's more efficient. I could try and figure it out and spend another 6 months or a year to do that, or I can invest, get results in 2 to 3 months, and then motor on, right? So you've always got to be looking at any investment of your time and your money is going to help your business move forward, meaning is it going to help you bring in more clients? So you definitely always want to be evaluating everything for your time and your money against how is it helping your business moving forward? How are you getting the time back? Me investing with a virtual assistant and a graphic designer gives me time back to focus on my clients and my marketing to get more clients, right? So all those things that I would otherwise have to do by myself would be taking away from very valuable activities for my business. So just be evaluating that. Okay, Tanya says, for everyone listening to this live, working with Carrie will get an upward positive spiral going for you. Messaging is the most powerful tool. Oh, thank you so much, Tanya. I believe that too. Your message, when you get that in alignment and you build the foundation of your business, makes everything you build up from that more solid, more effective, and more powerful, right? So you guys know if you're struggling at all right now with knowing how to speak to your ideal client and making that marketing effective, you know how hard it is right now. It gets so much better when you get that messaging foundation in place. Rochelle says, right, I think it's also played against how I've seen myself. Oh yeah, now we're getting into a whole bunch of mindset stuff around that. It's about how we value ourselves. You guys, I struggle with that too. I struggle with, am I worth the money that I charge people? I know I am. I know that the work I do with my clients catapults their businesses, right? I know how much value I give, not just in my program, in the trainings and the workbooks and the activities and the step-by-step process, but it's about me and really getting in and giving as much as I can from my experience to help you get clarity in your message. I know all that's worth it. I still have doubtful days where I'm like, why would anyone pay for this? Am I charging too much? No, in fact, I know I'm not charging enough, but I'm at a place right now where I feel really good about it. It's going to go up in 2018, but I feel really good about where it's at right now because I know that the people that I'm working with are seeing amazing results, and seriously, nothing makes me prouder than seeing my clients be successful. So, but yeah, it's all about, there's a whole bunch of mindset and self-worth and being an entrepreneur that you've really got to focus on. Spencer Snakerd is a mindset coach, and if you don't know her, I'll post a link to her page after the live here, but she does a lot of great Facebook Lives to help you think about that, and that's the work that she does. She's a mindset coach for women, so women entrepreneurs. So think about that. Tanya says, Dawn, I'm a translator, or as I learned from Carrie, I'm the lead translator and talent manager at The Translators, serving marketing agencies and clients in IT digitization and industry 4.0. Yeah. Getting super clear with how you introduce yourself and everything that you put out there makes it so much more effective. I've had people say that they've wanted to work with me on my introduction alone. So you guys, it's powerful stuff. So, okay. Thank you so much for your comments and your questions. Now, here's the thing. Because I again went a little long. I'm trying to keep these to 15 or 20 minutes because I know, especially if you're watching the replay, it's so hard when you start a video and you see it's 35 minutes long, and do you really have the time to commit to that? So thank you for those of you who've been on with me live this whole time and asking your great questions and sharing your feedback and comments. If you think this live would be valuable for others, please share, whether on your own page or in your own group, so that others can benefit from this as well. And if you are tired of struggling with any of these three mistakes, or maybe all three, I am doing a masterclass this week on Wednesday and on Thursday. I'm doing a 60-minute masterclass where I'm breaking down for you the 7 foundational elements to build that messaging foundation, how each of them gives you a competitive advantage in the market, and what you can start doing right now to building those. It's the same 7 elements that I help my clients develop inside my premium program, Messaging Mastery, the Foundation, and that cart officially opens tomorrow for public enrollment. So the masterclass is my way to share some of the inside foundational framework information that I share with my clients, give you an opportunity to learn a little bit more about that program. But even if you're not interested or ready to work on your messaging foundation yet with me, this masterclass is going to give you enough to get that jump start and get you going. So I've got 2 time slots. I'm offering it live both times, tomorrow on the 13th and Thursday on the 14th. Just go to carrieprice.com/masterclass. Pick the time that works best for you and join me live. There won't be a replay because, okay, let's be honest. It's more fun for me when you're live and I can answer your questions live while we're on the masterclass together. But when was the last time you actually watched a replay when you missed it? I know I say I'm going to and I just don't. So pick the time that works for you. Come join me live to learn more about those 7 foundational elements that allow you to build a strong business, makes all your marketing effective, lets you build an empire. Don't build your business on quicksand. Build it on a rock solid foundation so that you can stand out in the market, be heard and remembered, and make your message roar. I'll talk to you guys next week. Have a great day. Bye.